Hello class, welcome to Kin205 module 3 week 3. I'm over here at your overview page. This week we're going to take a look at the actions of the lower body. We'll discuss the various movements of the hips, ankles, and your feet. Okay. We'll look at the range of motion of various joints and determine what is the normal range for the average population. Now, just bear in mind as we go through the PowerPoint presentation this week, just be familiar with the ranges of motion and how common they are. Without having a goniometer, it would be challenging for you to kind of figure out what those ranges of motion are on yourself, but just kind of play around with guesstimating, okay? So what we're going to do, we're going to review actions of the lower body PowerPoint, and then we're going to take quiz 3, all right? We're going to complete discussion number 4 on goniometry, and that's pretty much for this week. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at our actions of the lower body, and I'm gonna briefly go over this because this can be a little challenging. All right. So the foot, the ankle and toes, right? So the movement of the toes, okay, imagine this is your foot here. We have flexion, okay, we have flexion. Flexion meaning you're curling your toes down to the floor, okay, curling your toes down to the floor. So if you've ever picked up a coin or a penny or a pencil from the floor, the way you're going to do that is you're going to curl your toes down and pick it up, okay? Extension is the opposite. Extension is the opposite. Extension is you're going to curl your toes up, okay, towards the top of the foot or towards the ankle. Okay. Adduction is basically moving your toes apart from one another. Okay, moving your toes apart from one another. All right. Moving right along here. Supination and pronation. Okay. Supination is actually a combination of different movements. All right, it's a combination of different movements. Supination is a combination of plantar flexion, adduction, and inversion. Okay? Supination is a combination of plantar flexion, adduction, and inversion. Pronation is a combination of dorsiflexion, adduction, and eversion. Okay? So that will make more sense as we move through the next couple of slides. Okay, so just understand that. So if we look at supination and pronation for your upper extremities, your hands, okay, you can kind of remember supination as holding a bowl of soup, okay, supination. Pronation is pouring that soup down, okay. Now if you look at that movement, you can see that there's so many movements associated with that. The same goes for your ankle complex, your foot complex, okay. So we're going to talk about goniometry a little bit more in your discussion. I want you to watch a couple of videos and you'll understand goniometry a little bit more. Okay. Let's go ahead and take a look at dorsiflexion and plantar flexion. All right. So plantar flexion is the ball of your foot staying on the ground and your heel moving up. So what kind of motions would that be associated with? So visualize yourself in a crowd, okay, and there's someone that's a little taller than you in the crowd, and what you're going to do is you're going to plantar flex, and then you're going to lift your heels up the ground and you're going to look over that person's shoulder, okay, so plantar flexion. Dorsiflexion, okay, is keeping your heel off the ground and picking up your toes and curling your toes back towards your ankle, okay. Again, be familiar with ranges of motion. On this particular quiz, you're going to have the opportunity to take it multiple times and have your PowerPoint presentation available for you while you're taking the quiz. Okay? Now here we go. Eversion and inversion. Eversion and inversion. Inversion is moving your foot inside, say, towards the midline of the body. Okay, moving your foot towards the inline of the body. Very similar to supination, okay? And eversion is moving your foot towards the outside of the body. okay? Your foot and ankle complex, all right? So moving your foot and ankle complex in would be inversion, and out would be eversion, okay? Now, you have something on your body, on your ankle, on the outside of your ankle, called a lateral malleolus. Okay, so if you take a look at your ankle, and it's that big protrusion on the side, on the outside of your ankle. Okay, this particular structure makes it really difficult for you to get a sprained ankle while you're doing eversion. Okay, while you're doing eversion, so while your feet are moving out, because of that structure. Okay, that's why it's more common to roll your ankle. Okay, it's more common to roll your ankle during inversion, right? So just understand that. Inversion, you're more likely to roll your ankle down. Okay? Your knee. Your knee has 4 different movements, okay? Your knee joint. It has flexion, which is, imagine kicking a soccer ball. Okay, you're straightening out your leg. Excuse me. And then it has flexion, which is basically bringing your heel towards your backside or your bottom, your glutes. Okay, so you have flexion, is bringing your heels towards your body, and you have extension, which is like kicking a ball. You also have medial and lateral rotation. So if you're in a seat right now, I want you to take your hands and put them under your thighs. Okay, put them under your thighs. Okay, and you're going to let your heels and your feet kind of hover above the ground. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to do medial rotation. You're going to bring your right heel over your left foot. Okay, and then you're going to take your right foot and then bring it out to the outside. Okay, kind of swing like a pendulum here, and that would be your medial and lateral rotation. So medial rotation, bringing your foot towards the midline and making that knee move towards that direction, and then lateral rotation would be meeting it away from the midline, okay? Moving it away from the midline. Okay. The movements of the hip. The hip is the largest joint in your lower extremities. So you have flexion, okay? So you imagine moving your leg up, your entire leg up, flexion. You have extension, you're moving your leg back behind you. You have abduction, moving your leg out to the side. Adduction, moving your leg inside towards the midline of the body, even past. And you have external and internal rotation. So imagine that my feet are my legs, okay? And these are my toes. Okay, so externally rotating my hip is moving my toes, my feet out. Internally rotating would be moving them in. Okay, so those are the movements of the hips here. All right. Your lower back, also referred to as your trunk. Your lower back, also referred to as your trunk. All right. So flexion would be you in an anatomical position, folding forward. Okay, folding forward. Extension would be a plane is flying overhead, and you look up, and you're moving backward, chin is up high, okay? Looking that way. And that's all associated with your trunk, okay? Your lower back. Lateral flexion would be you're standing upright, and you're tilting your body to the side, here, flexing it to the side. Also lateral flexion on the other side. And rotation would occur in the transverse plane. So moving on axis. So that's when you're driving a vehicle and you're looking over your shoulder, okay, to see if you can get to the lane, the next lane. Okay, so that would be rotation. Okay? And that's pretty much it for that. Once you review that, you're going to take quiz 3 and then go to the goniometry discussion. You're going to watch some of those videos there, and then we're going to talk about the importance of understanding that particular skill. All right. So I hope that helps. I know it's a little bit of a long video this week. If you have any questions or concerns, please let me know. Have a great week. Bye-bye.